Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys week 2 of the UCL. The St. Louis Rampardos are taking on the Bronx Beartics in our week 2 matchup here. Now, both myself and Joey are 1-0. I highly encourage you to check out his channel, guys. I did a series with him about a year ago. We had a blast. The Cage Lock 2, of course. He's one of my good friends, and I've been watching his content for a very long time. He's regarded as being one of the best battlers in this format and just in general on YouTube, so we definitely have our work cut out for him, but I beat him in the past. I know we could do it again, so we'll see what happens, man. But I gotta be honest, that Kyurem block is so scary. I have 0 switch-ins for Kyurem block, so we'll see what happens, man. But I feel like this will be a fun matchup nevertheless. Regardless, win or lose, you know, I've got that fun attitude because the UCL is meant to be more of a fun league. It's not supposed to be as competitive, so you know I love to win, but we're just trying to enjoy ourselves. But anyway, we do have a question of the day today as well. What is your favorite Sun and Moon Pokemon that has been released? We've gotten like 30 of them by now. I gotta say, man, the Grub inline for me, Grubbin, Charjabus, I can't remember what it's called, and Vikavolt, of course. Vikavolt is just super duper epic, so I'm definitely feeling that. But let me know in the comment section below which Pokemon you like the most so far of the new Alola region Pokemon, because there's a lot of really cool ones. But anyway, you probably saw our team builder. If you haven't, go check that out. It's in the description. I did make one change from the team builder. I did swap Toxic out for Roar. I just felt like the possibility of a sub Manaphy, even though I don't think he'll run sub Tail Glow Manaphy, there's a chance, you know what I mean? I don't want to get a sub Tail Glow Psychic and like Scald or whatever. Could be really detrimental if I don't have Roar, so I felt like I should run Roar over Toxic, even though I might miss out. I feel like I could get some Scald burns anyway, so we'll do that instead. But otherwise, check out the team builder because there's a lot of really interesting sets and stuff, so you know what we're rocking with. And I'm gonna get connected here with Joey, and we're gonna see what he's bringing, and we'll see how this match goes. All right, guys, we are connected here with Joey. Really excited to see what team he's going to bring. I said in the team builder, I really think the Kyurem, the Manaphy, the Aggron, potentially the Rhenoclist, the Garchomp, I think those are very, very likely brings. I think the Tangrowth is a possible bring as well because it does match up really well against some of my offensive threats like my Excadrill and things like that. But I'm not too sure, man. I don't know how much he's fearing things like Ditto. I don't know how much he's fearing things like Excadrill. I definitely think that he probably thought I was going to bring some of those Pokemon, but I did mix it up a little bit. I'm hoping he kind of doesn't really prep a whole lot for things like Heracross because it could be very, very effective against his team. But he might think I'm bringing Sand. I don't know, but he's definitely going to get some intel as soon as this team builder loads up here. I'm really excited, though. I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring. And I did bring Ice Punch on Tyranitar, too, just in case I need to freeze something mid to late game. So we do have that as an opportunity as well. But we'll see what happens here. So that's the team he's going to bring. I pretty much predicted. He brings Alamole instead of Tangrowth, which is fine, but I nail everything else, so feel pretty good about that. Definitely, I'm glad I got that because I could have been really poorly matched up against some of those other Pokemon if I didn't nail that right. So anyway, leads on his end, he could potentially lead with Garchomp, Aggron, or Kyurem. To me, are the most likely leads. I kind of want to lead T-Tar. I think T-Tar could really put in some work against a couple of those Pokemon. The Aggron is a little bit tough with the T-Tar, but I might be able to make something work there. He might try to prioritize Stealth Rocks, because I do have 2 Stealth Rock weak Pokemon. I don't want to lead with Heracross, not yet anyway. So to me, I think a good lead is going to likely be our T-Tar. He might think I'm just trying to get a Stealth Rocks, and I could kind of get a big hit on something. And again, it's really my only thing that can take hits from his Kyurem. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. T-Tar is my lead, because I'm not going to lead Salamence. I'm not going to lead Vaporeon. I could Skull, but I don't want to lose the momentum early. Harry is more of a mid Pokemon. I could lead with Asparagus, but I'm a little worried about Kyurem Ice Beam lead. So I think I'm gonna roll with that. We're gonna lead with Godzilla. I feel pretty confident in that. And if he leads Garchomp, I can Ice Punch. If he leads, Aggron, I'll switch out to Vaporeon. If he leads Kyurem, I stay in. I'll Pursuit and hopefully hit that thing because he would die to Stone Edge. So we'll see if he has Focus Blast or not. Is really what it's gonna come down to. I fully am aware that if he has Focus Blast, his Kyurem is gonna destroy my Tyranitar. I think he's gonna go with Earth Power instead. A little bit more reliable, as he does have the chance to miss, but these are the chances that you have to take. Again, like I said in the pregame, I said in this video, Kyurem Black is just, I have 0 switch-ins for it on my team. Its ability negates my Thick Fat on my my Venusaur and things like that. So he's going to lead with Beatdown, which is that Kyurem Black. So that was pretty much exactly what I figured. And he does activate that Terravolt, of course, but that does not negate our Sandstream. So we got that going on. But anyway, let me take a look here at Kyurem versus you know, versus us here. And this is a tough spot for us to be in already, because again, if he does have the focus blast and he is max special attack with a life orb, he will knock us out here. But I think my play is to just go for that pursuit here right off the bat, because I will be able to hit this thing for super big damage, especially if he switches out, and I should be able to break a substitute. And I really want to try to weaken this thing. I want him to switch out here, and maybe he won't switch on the first turn. Maybe he'll think I'm just going to go for Stealth Rocks, but I'm going to go for Pursuit here, and he is going to switch out, so I am going to get that big Pursuit off, which is really good. It's going to do up to 75%. It looks like he might have a little bit of HP investment, but we are going to hit him pretty hard and get him down to about 40%, which is really nice. Here comes his Alomomola. And this thing could do a lot of different things against us. It could just, we see the leftovers as well. So it's good to note. Good to note. So this thing could do a couple different things to us. It can go for a knockoff. It can go for a Scald. It could do a couple things like that. To me, I think there's an opportunity for me to go into my pink Pinocchio here, which is my Heracross. I can get some wall break-in action going on here right off the bat. He may be able to try to, he might go for a Wish or something like that, but I want to put the pressure on him with pink Pinocchio. And if he Scalds me, I do have the Guts ability, so it's not a big deal. If he knockoffs, that's fine. I'll lose my orb, but I can Swords Dance up in his face. If he does have like hidden power flying, then that's just amazing prep. I can't really prep for that, but Amamola's special attack stat is really low, so I should be able to get off a Swords Dance and be able to click close combat or something and really put a dent in something. Which is, of course, our primary goal here. So he may just Wish. He's actually going to pull a double here, so he might have predicted my switch into Heracross, but he's going to go to Panzer, which is that Aggron, so that's totally fine with me. Actually, that works out just fine. Now, he could have Aerial Ace on his Aggron, and that would be very interesting. Let me take a look here, if that would OHKO us or not, if he had the Aerial Ace. It actually looks like I can potentially live it, and I do have my Guts, so we are going to be Toxic now. And now my Close Combat actually does like a tremendous amount of damage to him. I can simply go for Close Combat here and really put a dent in his team. I can also Swords Dance. Now the thing is, if I Close Combat here, it may, like, this is a tough decision for me to make, because I can do like a tremendous amount to him. The thing is, if he goes for Heavy Slam, he could really put some work in here. So I have a tough decision to make here. I think I want to go for the SD and just kind of see what his Aggron is going to do. I have answers to the Alomomola, and if he switches out here, I mean, I could OHKO anything on his team right now. I just have to live one hit, and I do have a lot of HP investment, so he's not going to be that likely to go for. I don't want to take the defense drop with the Close Combat right off the bat here, so I think I'm actually going to go for the Swords Dance. He's going to Mega Evolve, so he is going to stay in here. He's either going to Stealth Rocks. He could have the Aerial Ace, which is a possibility. I actually might live it, depending on the roll he gets here. I'm going to go for the Swords Dance, though. We're going to see what he's going to do. This will allow us to OHKO the Aggron from full with Close Combat, which was our plan. He is going to Heavy Slam, so that actually works out really well that I didn't go for the Close Combat, because I wouldn't have actually lived that hit. But I think with Sandstorm damage plus the Toxic Orb, that's probably going to be enough to knock us out. We live on 1, which is huge. That is huge, 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 huge. Okay, so now I get to click Close Combat, and his only switch in here would be Reuniclus. But me at +2 against Reuniclus, I don't really think that that's going to want to take the hit. He may make the switch into it, though. Yeah, I have to make a tough play here. Close Combat does a tremendous amount to the Reuniclus, and he knows I'm going to OHKO him. Do I Mega Horn here, thinking he's going to stay in with Mega Aggron or not? I think his Reuniclus is very valuable to him. I think it's worth just the damage on anything. Because if he goes into Reuniclus, I could Revenge Kill it pretty easily. I could just go into T-Tar and Pursuit it, and we'll just knock it out. So I'm thinking I'm just going to click Close Combat here. If he does go into Reuniclus to take the hit, that's fine, but we will OHKO this Aggron here if he stays in. Actually, everything on his team does get OHKO'd by Close Combat at this point. He is going to switch out, most likely into that Reuniclus, which is Beatdown. No, he goes into his Kyurem. Oh my goodness, I am very surprised to see him sack off his Kyurem this early in the match, but that Pursuit really coming in clutch, so Heracross kills Kyurem with Close Combat, which is wonderful. That was one of the biggest threats in my mind on his team, and we're going to get rid of that. That Pursuit on the T-Tar was huge. Now he gets rid of our Heracross, of course. Heracross dies to Sandstorm. So the Sandstorm does come in clutch there, but now I think I have a great opportunity to go into Asparagus here. which could match up pretty well against a lot of his team. I could just Leech Seed or something like that on pretty much anything. I get a free Mega Evolution off. So let's do that. Let's go into our Asparagus here, just in case he does go into his Manaphy. But he's going to go into his Aggron here, and this is going to be an opportunity for me to Mega Evolve and go for our Leech Seed here, just to get some residual damage up and hopefully wear down this this Mega Aggron here. I don't really think he can do too much to us. He could have Heavy Slam and things like that, but it did seem like he might have had a little bit of offensive investment on his Aggron as well. But we should be able to pretty much take any hit from this thing without a problem. He's going to say he might just go for Stealth Rocks or Thunder Wave, but we are going to get the Leech Seed off. We do connect, which is very nice. And let me make a note that we did see Heavy Slam before, and he's got the Stealth Rock, so that's fine. He does preserve that, and again, the biggest thing with this this Aggron here is we're going to want to kind of chip it down, whittle it down a little bit with Leech Seed, with things like that. Now, I have a feeling he's actually going to switch here. I kind of want to scout his set, so I'm actually going to double Leech Seed, predicting a switch here. I don't really anticipate him to do too much to us, and he's going to want to keep this thing as healthy as possible. He could go into Reuniclus, so perhaps I should have Sludge Bombed. In fact, I probably should have Sludge Bombed. Now that I think about it, I should have thought about that turn a little bit more before I click the move, but that's okay. I'll find out if he's Regenerator or not. He's going to stay in, actually, and show us the Heavy Slam, so that's going to be his play. His play is the Heavy Slam, that's fine. I know I could take that, no problem. You can see just how little that's actually going to do to us, and this Leech Seed is going to start racking up on him, which is really nice. And again, we're going to get a lot of health back here, so he might be trying to chip us down a little bit, but I am gaining almost as much back. So now I'm actually going to go for the Sludge Bomb here, predicting the switch into that Reuniclus. Now, it's going to do a decent amount. I don't want to switch out here. To me, it's not worth the switch out, especially when I could put a little chunk into that Reuniclus and really kind of hurt him. Like a standard Calm Mind Reuniclus is going to take about 37% max, and I'll be able to get some pretty good chip damage on that. I could make an aggressive double here into my Vaporeon, which can take any hit from the Reuniclus, and allow me to Baton Pass out into Godzilla, which could be really useful. I don't want to go into heavy. I don't want a Heavy Slam here. Or I don't want to take the risk on that. I think my play here is to go into my Vaporeon. I'm going to make the switch into Vaporeon here, predicting his switch into Reuniclus. Now, if he stays in, that's fine. I know I can take a Heavy Slam. Not too concerned about that. If he is packing the Thunder Punch, I know I can live that too. So he's going to switch here, hopefully into that Reuniclus, which is what I was predicting. And here comes Hard Body, so I indeed get that prediction proper, which is great. So we are going to see that Reuniclus come in here, and we're going to activate our leftovers. So what I can do now is a couple different things. I can simply just roar him out and kind of scout out what kind of set he's rocking. I can go for a Wish. I could do a couple different things. So I could also Baton Pass out. The Baton Pass is a little risky, though, because I'm faster. So, but a standard Reuniclus, I mean, he could be like the Life Orb variant. He could do a lot to us with Energy Ball, especially if he's an offensive variant. I can't really tell. I have no idea. I could just roar him out, kind of see what he's gonna do. Is an opportunity. I could also just Baton Pass. So I don't really want to go into T-Tar. I think that's just too obvious to go into T-Tar. I could just Scald and get damage. I actually like the Roar play. I'm gonna go for Roar. I want to see what he's gonna do. He's gonna go for Acid Armor, so it's a great thing I switched this out and got Roar on there. And we're gonna find out that he's an Acid Armor variant. Very nice to know. I've seen him run those kind of things before. Actually, when I played him in the Little Cub League, he ran a set kind of like that, so that was pretty interesting there. So here comes his Beartic, his Manaphy here, and he knows I have Roar now. So with the way Joey plays, I know I can live in Energy Ball, especially since I have some investment. And I think Joey is gonna predict me to not Roar here, and I think he's not gonna Energy Ball. This is the funny mind games here. I think I gotta Roar again, though. I really do. I think I gotta Roar him again. It's just too risky for me to go for anything else. I'm pretty sure that his Reuniclus is Magic Guard now as well. I just can't risk him getting up a Substitute, so I'm gonna go for the Roar again. He may go for a Substitute, but more likely he could just Tail Glow. And he does indeed show me that he has Tail Glow. So we're getting some very valuable information here from his team. We know his Manaphy is a Tail Glow variant. We know that Reuniclus is very challenging because of its Acid Armor. We are going to get this Alomomola in here. Now, I believe that Alomomola, I don't know, actually we should Speed Tie here. So this is poor prep on my part, not really preparing for this thing. My switch in here is normally just Asparagus. I don't want to take a Scald Burn, though. It's a bit scary, and this thing is problematic for my team, in all honesty. I don't really have the best answers for this. I don't have the best answers for this. But what I can do is I could baton pass. I don't want to lose my item. He's not going to Scald, I don't think. He could just knock off here, which is not good. I don't want to take a knockoff. I think this thing is going to be very challenging for us. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the baton pass, and we'll see what he's going to do here. He is going to go for a wish, which is fine. And he may be able to go for a protect, which could be tough for us, but this will get me into my my Venusaur. If I want that, if I want to go into Venusaur, I can go into Venusaur here, and I can threaten him out. He's likely to switch at that point. I could pull a double. He might have protect. Hold on, let me think about this play here. We knew he's got wish. What do I think he's gonna do? I don't really want to go into Godzilla. I can't go into Harry yet because I'm fearing him having protect. I think I'm gonna go into Asparagus here. I don't want to risk that Power Herb Solar Beam play yet. He's a little too high of health for that to matter anyway. He would just get it back with the wish, so it would be kind of a wasted play. Now, obviously, I'm risking a potential Scald Burn here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for a Leech Seed. I could Sludge Bomb as well. I'm going to go for a Sludge Bomb, actually. Let's do that. He's going to switch out, most likely into his Reuniclus. And here comes Panzer, actually, so he goes into the Aggron. So he's going to use this Wish support with this Aggron to really try to heal this thing back up. And that's fine with me. So he's going to get this thing back to full. So he gets a free swap out of this. And this is going to be very tough for me to break down his defensive core here. But I'm going to just go for a Leech Seed here. And if he does go into that Reuniclus, that's fine. I do have my T-Tar, which I know can put in some work there, and I could roar him out and stuff depending on his spread. So he's going to go into Hard Body here again, which is that Reuniclus, and we'll find out if he is Regenerator or Magic Guard. I'm pretty sure he's going to be Magic Guard, though, just based on the fact that he does have Acid Armor, and he does, so that is exactly the case. So what I'm going to do here is, I know my T-Tar is against the Reuniclus. Like, the thing is T-Tar versus Reuniclus, if I go for Crunch, if he goes +2, I will not be able to really knock him out with Crunch, so that becomes very problematic. So I think I have to actually go into Oxygen here and try to spread some, kind of push him around a little bit. That Acid Armor is gonna be very tough. It's gonna be very hard for me to break down his defensive core at this point in time, guys. I'm gonna be honest, but we're gonna try to do our best here. He is gonna go for that Acid Armor, so again, I'm forced to roar him out. That's really the only thing I can do here is roar him out. So. And we might see his set, whether he has another offensive move or if he does have any sort of offensive move to take on our Vaporeon, but I am just going to roar him out. He is going to go for the Toxic here. He actually misses the Toxic, so quite unfortunate on his end, but now I get some more intel on his set, so he might not have the coverage moves. Here comes that Manaphy, and I think this is an opportunity. Again, last time I roared him out on the Tail Glow, and he very well may just go for it again. I don't know if that's a risk I could take. I think I have to roar here again. As much as I think he does Tail Glow again, so I'm able to roar him out here. I can't take a chance with this thing. I cannot. I have to roar him out. So in comes the Aggron, which is great. So this is kind of the situation I was envisioning here. So what I'm going to do now is I think I could just Baton Pass, predicting him to switch out. If he does attack, I'll expect the Heavy Slam. I'll go into Venusaur. But I think I'm going to Baton Pass this time. He's going to stay in with his Aggron, so I could have stayed in and Scalded. That would have been nice. I probably should have done that, but that's okay. I get to swap into my Venusaur now, if that's what I decide to do. I could also go into Harry, but I'm going to be taking some damage there. So let's go into our Asparagus. I know I can take any hit from this thing. And we'll see what he's going to do here. He is going to go for the Toxic, so we see Toxic on this thing as well. And we really do wall this thing pretty well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I got to make a play. So I'm going to make a bold prediction here, and I'm actually going to go into Godzilla this time. Do I think he's going to go into Reuniclus? If he Heavy Slams and connects on Godzilla, that's going to do just a tremendous amount of damage. So it's a little bit risky for me to make that play. But I think that's the play I got to make. I'm going to make the play. If he Heavy Slams here, then it's just a great play on his part. You know, but I gotta make a play at some point to break down this defensive core of his, because otherwise I'm gonna just keep getting kind of destroyed here. We'll see if he stays in or if he does make the Heavy Slam play. I know it's a possibility he makes the Heavy Slam predicting this Tyranitar, and he does make that play, so props to him for making a great play there. Again, there really wasn't much I could do. I had to make a play at some point to get my my Tyranitar in, so against you know, one of his defensive Pokemon. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just go back into Asparagus here. I'll get a synthesis off or something like that. I can leech seed. I gotta get some health back here. So I had to make the play though. But I do know that his Aggron is pretty much hard-walled by my Venusaur, so that's good to know. But this Stealth Rock's damage is starting to rack up here a little bit, and this is one of the downsides to having Synthesis and Sand, because obviously we're running the risk here of taking a lot of damage now with the Sand. Maybe I should have went into Venusaur, but that's okay. I'm gonna just go for the Synthesis here and try to stall out some of these Sand turns, and get some health back here. He's gonna stay in. You're gonna see this only heals us up about 25%. But it's going to be enough that I can take on a couple more hits here from his Aggron and hopefully start to kind of beat this thing down here a little bit. Let's see kind of where we end up here. So that's going to bring us down to about 50. With the Sandstorm, we're actually losing out here. I need the Sandstorm to go away. I gotta Synthesis again in order to live, so this might be his chance to go into his Reuniclus though. His team is just so bulky, and now without Heracross, unfortunately, I'm in a bit of a tough spot. I need that thing to be my primary wall breaker against him, but we'll get the Synthesis off here, and that'll get us to about 86, and he's gonna Heavy Slam us again, so we are losing health here. He is actually gaining on us, and that looked like a crit. Yeah, that was a crit. Here comes the Sandstorm, which is really gonna hurt us, and we are in a very tough spot here. I have to Synthesis, and I have to be able to live. So I am going to go for a Synthesis again. I believe this is the last turn of Sand, but there might be one other one. And this is where, and I know I'm going to hear it, this is where Sand and Venusaur do not pair very well. He's going to Heavy Slam us again. We're going to live on 10, and the Sandstorm does go away. So that's going to be fine. We are going to be able to get this Synthesis off here, and we're going to gain 50% this time instead of what we did previously. So he is going to switch out this time into his Reuniclus, most likely. This would have been a really good opportunity for me to switch to my T-Tar, but I couldn't risk that. So what I think I need to do here is I need to put a big hit on this thing. I need to hit this thing incredibly hard, and I think the only way for me to do that is to go into my T-Tar and just click Crunch now at this point. And T-Tar's main usefulness is to hit this thing. So I'm going to just go into T-Tar now. And I understand this is risky, but he's gone Acid Armor 2 times now. If he does decide to attack us here, that's fine, but I gotta go into Godzilla here, and I gotta try to hit this thing. Maybe he won't Acid Armor again. Maybe he'll think my Vaporeon's coming in. But he does go for the Acid Armor, so that's one turn of Sand. I gotta keep track of Sand this time, too. Even with an Acid Armor, depending on his spread, I will be able to do a tremendous amount soon. We are Choice Banded, so even at +2, it is a potential 2-hit KO. So I'm just gonna go for the Crunch here, try to get as much damage off on this thing as I can. A crit would knock him out too, so that's something to note too. Depending on his spread, he might not be that fully invested because of the Acid Armor. Does do over half to him. He is going to go for the Toxic here, so that actually works out because now we are Toxic. I don't have Heal Bell, which is unfortunate, but now and he shows the Leftovers actually in this thing, so that's good to note. We saw Toxic, we saw the Toxic before, we saw Leftovers. I fully expect him to switch here. I don't think he's going to risk this thing because a Crunch would knock him out. So his switch is most likely into the Alomomola or the Aggron. Alomomola to pass the Wish. The Aggron would be, it's about 60%. He would go into Aggron to potentially take the Crunch because it's just so bulky. So I think this is an opportunity for me to go into Harry here, because Harry can actually put in some work against Aggron. And I could fire off a Fire Blast, and it is a 2-hit KO. So I'm going to go into Harry here, predicting his switch out. And the worst he can probably do to Harry is you know, I think he's going to switch though. This Reuniclus is very, very important to his team, and he has a great switch into my T-Tar with that Aggron, which can definitely take the hits. He also could go into his Alomomola, so we'll see what he's going to do here. I do think he's going to switch though, but I'll get my my Delphox in here, and we'll kind of see what he's going to do. Again, I don't want to take these Stealth Rocks damage, but he is going to switch here. I know he's going to be about 60%, which is nice. And he does go into Whitley, which is what? That's the Alomomola. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reveal my Solar Beam play now, because I know he's got the Leftovers, and if I could take the Leftovers from this thing, that could be very, very useful. He probably thinks I can't hit him here. He might run Protect, which would be a great play on his part, but I'm going to click Solar Beam. It's not going to knock him out, but it is going to do a tremendous amount of damage to him, and I want to take his Leftovers from him. That'd be really, really nice. if I can steal his leftovers, because that's going to just kind of weaken this thing and kind of hurt its longevity, because he's probably just going to wish here and try to get a wish passed over to that Reuniclus, in which case I'm going to need to Fire Blast on the switch. So this is where I got to go for that Solar Beam play. I have to. His team is very tough. It's very, very bulky for us to break down. He's going to go for the Protect, so he does actually scout out the Solar Beam play. And I'm going to go for the Solar Beam here, but I don't know actually how this works, because the Power Herb, yeah, it's going to waste my Power Herb. And because of the Protect, I don't actually get the item. So unfortunately, that was one of those things where I knew that Protect was an option. I knew he could use Protect, but there just wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. So now he gets a free wish. And he could easily just wish and go right into, his Reuniclus. So what I gotta do is I gotta go to Asparagus here, and I gotta try to put some pressure on him, because now I don't have my item, and I can't really Magician him. I could Fire Blast and Magician, take his item, but I'm gonna save that for later. We'll go to Asparagus here, and I'm gonna try to get some damage off on this thing. I'm sure that, oh, he's actually gonna Waterfall, so I don't have to worry about Scald, which is nice. He's got the Waterfall, which I know I can eat no problem, and he didn't go for Wish, which is really good. So now I could just Giga Drain here, and I could take on anything with a Giga Drain and get some health back here. He could switch into his Reuniclus. It's potential, but I think Giga Drain's our best play. We'll get some health back. I'm thinking that Garchomp is Scarfed now as well. Something to note. I really do feel like his Garchomp is going to be Scarfed. The reason why I feel that way is he hasn't brought it into the match yet. It's the only Pokemon I haven't seen hit the field. And just due to its speed stat being able to outspeed our Salamence, very, very important to note that that's just a likely situation. So, but the nice thing is I don't know if his Reuniclus has Recover, so we are going to start to weaken that thing down. And if he goes into his Aggron here, I'll just I could just start Sludge Bombing or Giga Draining and stuff like that. Try to get some chip damage on it. Again, Aggron without any recovery is nice. So we'll see what he's going to do here, but his Wall Core is just very, very tough to beat down here, especially with the Regenerator on the Alomomola and the Aggron. They just pair so well together, and being able to pass those wishes is making this a very tough matchup for me. He's going to switch out here, so I'm going to get a Giga Drain off. I'm thinking the Aggron's coming in. In comes the Aggron, so that's exactly what happens here. I do have an opportunity to get Leech Seed off, though, if I want to on this Aggron. You can see just how little that's going to do, but it's health. We're going to get a little bit of health back. And he may predict a Leech Seed here. This isn't really a situation where I can make that prediction. I'm going to just go for the Leech Seed. If he does go into his Reuniclus, that's fine. I'm going to get the Leech Seed off here, which is really nice. And that's going to give us some residual recovery against this thing, where he actually goes for the Curse. So he's going to show the Curse here. So he's Curse Aggron with Heavy Slam. And we've seen his entire set now. Curse, Toxic, Stealth Rocks, Heavy Slam. Very interesting set. That's okay, though. Because we are going to get that residual chip damage here, I'm going to just go for a Synthesis at this point in time and get my health back, because I know I can go into Vaporeon on this thing. He's going to switch this time, so he's probably going to go into that Reuniclus. Here comes Hard Body, and I have to Sludge Bomb this thing. It's really the only play I have. I know this thing is carrying Acid Armor, Toxic. I don't know what his other move is. He's likely got Psychic to hit me. And he may have another coverage move, but I have to go for Sludge Bomb here, and I have to hope that he's more of a physically defensive variant, which is kind of what I was thinking before. He could be fearing my Tyranitar right now. Very possible, but I'm going to just go for the Sludge Bomb. I want to see how much this is going to do to him. It might be a 2 KO at this range, depending on his spread. He's going to switch. We'll see what he's going to go into, but I get a Sludge Bomb off here. In comes the Panzer, which is that Aggron, so he's like trying to kind of scout out some of my moves here, but this is fine with me. I get a Sludge Bomb off, and that's cool, so not a big deal. I get to Leech Seed again if I want to. I have a feeling he's going to switch, though, so I'm going to go for Sludge Bomb again. He is going to stay in here, so that's fine, and he's going to go for the Heavy Slam, so not a big deal. Again, I'm not too concerned about that. I know I could take those Heavy Slams all day. I'm not too concerned. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go for the Giga Drain here. It's kind of the middle ground play. Maybe I'll catch him, go into that Reuniclus so I can hit that thing a little bit. I'm still waiting to see what kind of other moves he has on that Reuniclus. And he's going to switch here. It would be great if he went into like Alomomola or something. I doubt it. He goes into Hard Body. So here comes that Reuniclus. We're going to see just how much this is going to do. We are going to get the Giga Drain off. And it does a good amount. It does a tremendous amount, actually. It puts him in Sludge Bomb range, which is very nice. That puts him in Sludge Bomb range for sure. So this is exactly what I was hoping for. Now he's got to figure out what his switch into Sludge Bomb is going to be. I'm going to go for that Sludge Bomb now. He may just go into his... He's going to stay in here. If this knocks him out, that would be very good for me. And it doesn't knock him out. He's actually going to live. He lives very low health, and he's got the recover. So that's unfortunate. Man, that Giga Drain damage made it look like I was going to be able to knock him out there, and that was just not the case at all. So now what I have to do is I got to go into my big Tyranitar here again, which is going to really kind of put the hurt on the team to do that. But it's really the only play. I got to go into Godzilla here. I know he's probably going to Acid Armor, and I've got to go for a Crunch. But he may predict that at this point too. So we're gonna get Godzilla in here. This is gonna give me an opportunity to go for Crunch. If he does Acid Armor, which is most likely the play, he's gonna Acid Armor, I'm thinking. And he does go for the Acid Armor. So now I got a Crunch. And this is tough because I really don't have many options here. I mean, I could try to, I can go into Vaporeon and try to do some shenanigans. I really gotta just go for a Crunch here and see how much it does. This is one of those situations where, you know, you just gotta hit him as hard as you can and see what happens. So he may just go for the Recover here, but I'm gonna go for the Crunch. I do have the opportunity to pass a Wish to Godzilla later if I need to, but that's gonna be kind of tough to do. But I gotta go for Crunch. He may be fearing Pursuit as well, a potential switch with the Pursuit, which worked out really well. We're gonna get this Crunch off here. I'm gonna need a really good damage roll on this one though. And it doesn't knock him out, gets really close, and he does go for the Recover here. And again, his ability is really coming in clutch as he's gonna live this hit, obviously. So I have a tough decision at this point in the match. I can try to preserve my T-Tar by going into my Vaporeon, but realistically, I don't really know what else there is I can do. So I'm gonna go for the Crunch. I think he might just switch here though into his Aggron. I feel like this is one of those situations where I just have to hope for a crit. I mean, I don't really know how I can beat Reuniclus otherwise at this point in the match. This is going to be very tough for me to beat Reuniclus at this point. Maybe Harry can beat it. I just think he's going to go into his Aggron here. I'm going to go into my Vaporeon. I'm going to save my Aggron, my Godzilla. I really don't anticipate him staying in. It'd be weird if he stayed in. So we'll get Vaporeon in here. He might just Recover too. He is going to switch, so that's good. I'll see what he goes into. He's going to go into Whitley, which is of course that Alomomola. And he's going to try to hurt us here. So he's going to get that. I'm going to get my Wish off though, which is nice. I'm going to be able to get a Wish off here, potentially go into my Aggron, or I'm sorry, my T-Tar. I'm just kind of at a loss here on what to do to beat him at this point. It's going to be very tough, but I am just going to go for a... do I want to Scald, actually? Scald could be nice to get a Scald burn off. Let me go for a Scald here. I'm going to try to get this Scald burn. We got a 30% chance to burn him. It'll really help us kind of beat this thing in the long term. And we do connect with the burn, which is very nice. He's going to go for the Wish here, so that's fine. He's most likely to either try to Wish up that Reuniclus, but that's fine. Vaporeon could stall that thing out pretty well. And now he's going to be taking that burn damage every turn, which I know he does have the Regenerator, so he's going to be healing himself up with that, but at the very least I can kind of get some turns here with this. Now, this is kind of tough because I've got to figure out, let's see here, I got to figure out how to get into my T-Tar. I'm going to go for the Wish. I'm going to go for the Wish. He is going to go for the Protect here, so he's going to try to scout out what I'm going to do. I'll get my Wish off, things like that. He's going to most likely think I'm going to try to pass this Wish over to my my T-Tar, which is potential. I'm not going to, though. I'm not going to pass the T-Tar this turn because I think he's going to Waterfall. I think the Waterfall is very likely. And I can go into Venusaur. And Venusaur will be pretty good because I could maybe 2 KO the Reuniclus. It's very tough. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think Harry can live a hit. And I want to take this thing's item. So I think I'm going to go into Harry because, like, realistically, I mean, hold on. Alomomola, like a defensive Alomomola with Waterfall. I mean, is that really going to, how much is that going to do? Because we're going to be very low health. Yeah, I can't actually go into Harry. I can't because they'll actually knock us out. So I gotta, the thing is, if I Baton Pass, it's like a speed tie. So I'm gonna Baton Pass and hope that he goes first. He doesn't, so that's fine. I can't risk the waterfall. I gotta go into Venusaur here. I have to. I can't risk a waterfall, so we are gonna go into Venusaur. I would love to pass the wish to Delphox and be able to steal this thing's leftovers, but it's just too risky at this point. I think the waterfall is a very likely play. He goes for the wish, so I could have gotten into my T-Tar there for free, but it was just too risky for me. And this could be his switch into his Rhenoclus, which is just getting increasingly challenging for me to beat at this point in time, especially since I just don't have an answer for this this Alomomola. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch into Vaporeon again, because I think his switch into either Aggron or Rhenoclus is likely. We're going into Oxygen here, and we'll see what he's gonna do. He's gonna switch, so he's gonna try to pass this wish off, most likely to either Aggron or the Rhenoclus. Here comes the Rhenoclus, of course, and he's gonna get that that health back. So here we are, stand still again. Now I know his Rhenoclus is toxic now, which is very scary for me, because I don't want to take a toxic. I can't take a toxic. That would be very, very bad. And actually, he's got recover, and his last move is kind of tough for us. So this is a tough spot for me because I got to be able to pass this wish. So I'm gonna have to just chance the toxic. I'm gonna go for the wish. This is my opportunity. I gotta go into my I gotta get into my T-Tar here to really beat this thing and try to put some pressure on him. So I don't want to take a toxic, but I think I have to. Let me think about this. Let me actually baton pass. I'm gonna baton pass. I'm gonna go into Delphox. I'm gonna go into Delphox here. Delphox taking the toxic isn't as big of a deal, because what I could try to do is I could try to take his item. I want to take one of his items. I gotta take his item. That's what I have to do. I gotta get rid of his leftovers. So really just kind of force him to, you know, I know I can take a Psyche. He's gonna get connected with the toxic here. So this is kind of tough because I do have to connect a move here to take his leftovers, or the Alamomola's leftovers. I just want to take something's leftovers here. That's the only way we're gonna be able to break through. So I'm gonna go for the Fire Blast here, and I'm gonna try to steal his item. He's gonna switch out. He might go into that Aggron. He's gonna go into the Alomomola. So actually, this is okay. I'll be able to if I connect. I believe this will take his leftovers from him. You're gonna see it's not gonna do much, but it's gonna do enough that I can steal his leftovers and get some health back. So that'll be really good. Now I gotta be very close to look at my HP bar here. So we're gonna be sitting at what? We're gonna be sitting at 41 out of 151. 41 out of 151. So that means I do live one more Stealth Rock switch in here. I do live one more Stealth Rock switch in. So what I have to do is I gotta go into Oxygen here, and I gotta get some wishes up. I gotta start passing some wishes around. But this Alomomola lost its item now. I know he's got Wish, but he doesn't have his item anymore. He's going for Waterfall. I'll get that Water Absorb back, and we're starting to weaken him a little bit here. And this is what I was hoping to do. This is what I was hoping to do here before. Now he's most likely to go for a Wish here, so I think I'm gonna Wish as well. What I could do is I can go to Asparagus now, but that's not gonna really get as far. I gotta go for the Wish. He's gonna switch, so this could be good. I hope he goes into something faster. He goes into Rhenoclus, which is slower, obviously. But what I can do now is I haven't seen his last move, which I'm expecting to be Psychic. This could be the opportunity I need to get into my T-Tar, so I'm gonna go for the Baton Pass. I'm gonna get this Wish. I'm gonna go into T-Tar, and I guess this is really the only play. I gotta get T-Tar healed up. This is really all I can do. And we're gonna go to Godzilla here. Now we actually died to Stealth Rock, so it's irrelevant. I should have checked that, but that's okay. T-Tar dies to Stealth Rock, and he does show his final move, which is Psychic, of course. So I didn't know if I would live that, but this is gonna be tough, guys. I don't really know how else I can beat this thing at this point in time. This thing is just very, very tough for us to beat. Harry can live a hit, but that's not gonna get us far. So yeah, I think at this point, I don't see how I beat Hard Body here. Really any way I beat it. I could go to Asparagus. I could try to hit him with some Sludge Bombs and see how much that does. I can go for a Fire Blast with Harry. I know I could live 1. I can go for Fire Blast, do some damage to him. This thing is going to be very, very tough for us to beat. I just don't know how else to beat him. I think I'm going to go into Harry here and get a Fire Blast off and just see how much it's going to do. He may very well just switch, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So I am just going to go for the Fire Blast here. He's going to switch most likely into that Alomomola. Yeah, here comes the Alomomola. And obviously it gets its Regenerator, of course. And you can see we could do a decent amount to him. We're actually going to just die to the Toxic. So this is going to be... his team is so bulky, man. Delphox dies to... I know we live. We're still living on. We're still living 1 more turn. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. We might actually be able to knock something out here. I mean, I know he could just go for Protect at this point, which is likely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Venusaur, I think. I'm going to save Harry. I'm going to go to Venusaur here, predicting him to just go for Protect, which is a pretty obvious play. And we'll see what he's going to do. I think the Protect is pretty likely. I don't think he's going to Wish here, because I would have been able to knock him out with another move. He does go for the Protect, so that's fine. And he's going to take some more damage here. So now what I do is I'm going to Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb will knock him out. If he goes into Reuniclus, I can at least hit that thing relatively hard. So let's go for the Sludge Bomb. I'm sure he's going to switch this thing out at this point. And we'll see what he's going to do. The problem is Reuniclus pretty much just wins in the match here. If he goes into Reuniclus, he pretty much like just wins with Psychic. I mean, I could Sludge Bomb and just hope for some really high rolls. That Reuniclus living earlier in the game, I do think that was a damage roll because the Giga Drain did do a tremendous amount to him. It looked like it would have been enough. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those matches I could have saved my T-Tar a lot longer and things like that. And try to aim for a timer situation, but that didn't really seem like a good idea. So here comes that Reuniclus, and again, I don't really have many things that I could do to it. You can see the Sludge Bomb, it does about 30% to him, but him getting that recovery back is going to make this very challenging for me. So what I do now is I'm just going to go into Vaporeon here again, and we're just going to go back and forth. I mean, I don't know if he can beat Vaporeon. I mean, he's got the Toxic, so if he just Toxics Vaporeon, he'll beat it. So there's not a whole lot I could do about that. He's going to just go for the Recover, kind of stall us out. Now I know if he just goes for a Toxic, it's gonna this is gonna be an interesting one here, guys. This is one that I could take to the timer. I could run here. Running would probably, I mean, at this point, I can't beat Reuniclus at this point. So I'm gonna go for the Baton Pass and predict the Toxic here. Very likely Toxic. And I'll just go into Venusaur. I don't know how much his, I mean, he's just super bulky. I mean, Reuniclus does about half to me with Psychic. So here's the Toxic, predicted that, that's fine. Now I'm thinking he's gonna go for Psychic, or he might go for Toxic. I mean, I'm gonna just go for Giga Drain here. See how much it does. Again, there's not a whole lot I can do in terms of beating this Reuniclus. I could have went for a timer situation, because we're both kind of just stalling each other out. Here comes the Psychic again. It's going to do about half to us, it looks like. I'm assuming. That's exactly what happens. It does a little over half to us. And again, I mean, this is one of those situations where I just have no way to beat this thing, I don't think. What I'm going to do, though, to try to beat it is... I think what I need to do is, if I can get as much damage possible on this thing and then go into Mence and click Outrage, maybe that's what I can do. That's really the only thing I could think of. So let's go for Sludge Bomb, try to get as much damage off on him as possible. I'm going to go into Mence and just click Outrage and see if that's going to be enough. I really doubt it, but it's really the only thing I can do. So we're going to knock him below half. He is going to knock us out here. This is really the only, this is kind of like my last ditch effort. So Reuniclus kills Venusaur with Psychic. But I don't think it's going to be enough. He's like a max defense variant, which is what I'm thinking he is. It's actually close. I don't think it is going to be enough, but it's my only play at this point. Obviously, he can go into Aggron now too, and he just kind of wins at that point. But I have to just go for it. I just have to click Outrage. He has a very easy play here and just going into Aggron. So that was exhilarating. he's gonna switch, so he's gonna go into his Aggron here and preserve that. I was gonna Fire Blast, but again, it's kind of at the point now where there's not a whole lot I can do here. I have to just go for Outrage and hope that, you know, a couple Outrages, I'll get some Moxie boosts, and you can see just how little that's gonna do. I'm locked in Outrage at this point in the match, so he's gonna be able to Heavy Slam us here and knock us out. And I won't be able to beat the Reuniclus. I just don't have anything to beat it at this point without Heracross and without T-Tar. I thought T-Tar would be enough, but it just wasn't. Here comes the Heavy Slam. I can get another Outrage off here, but it's gonna be quite tough. We're gonna get this Outrage, but he's gonna be able to Toxic our Vaporeon, and without me having any way to heal that off, he's going to be able to knock us out here. So Aggron's gonna knock out whatchamacallit, Aggron kills Salamence with Heavy Slam. And so Salamence goes down, and now I have a chance to beat the Aggron at least. I can go into Oxygen here. Harry just dies on entry at this point. So I'll go into Oxygen. And I'll just click Scald. I mean, at this point, he could just go into his Reuniclus and just kind of win. But I'll just click Scald here on the chance I could potentially knock this thing out. He's going to switch it out. He's going to go into that, probably the Alomomola. Yep. I guess I can hope that Burn plus Scald, a couple Scalds here might be enough. I really doubt it, though. It's got pretty bad special defense. It's going to be close. Actually, I might be able to kill him with Scald. I've outsped him the times that I didn't want to outspeed him, so maybe I'm a little faster. I think it is a speed tie, though. We do have the same speed. I didn't put any speed on my Vaporeon, so I'm going to go for Scald here. And if I get a good damage roll here, man, we'll knock him out. And and he goes for Healing Wish, and that is just, oh my goodness. If I could have beaten that Reuniclus, I really feel like we probably could have won this match, but what are you gonna do? Alomomola, Healing Wish. That's just bad, man. He basically just wins here with the Reuniclus at this point. He could just Toxic my Vaporeon and win. There's not really anything he could do about it. So here comes that Reuniclus, which does come in. It does get healed all the way. Again, there's not anything I could do about it at this point. So Healing Wish was his last move on his Alomomola. So this was definitely one of those painful matches here to play, because I feel like his defense is just so good, and all he has to do is connect with a Toxic here and beat my Vaporeon. So you can see just how little that's going to do. I get a Burn. It doesn't matter because of his ability. And here comes the Toxic. He does connect. And this is going to be a very painful death for my Vaporeon here, as it's going to just slowly die to Toxic. And you guys get to watch it get whittled down to Toxic here. Yeah, that's tough. You know, I thought I had enough for the Reuniclus with the Heracross and Godzilla. Wasn't really anything on my team that I think would have been able to beat the Reuniclus any more effectively. Anyway, so there might not have been anything that mattered. If I could have gotten rid of his leftovers, that would have been good, but we got his Reuniclus weakened so many times to a pretty low amount of health, but it just wasn't enough, and he's just gonna keep clicking recover, and that's okay, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel that I got beaten because of any like big misplays or anything like that. So to me, a defeat like this is like, it is what it is, man. I'm not like gonna beat myself up over it. I don't think I played bad, so I actually think I played pretty decent. And, you know, I just couldn't beat the Reuniclus after my Heracross went down. He had the Acid Armor idea, which is a great idea, honestly, because it would have been able to sponge some hits from Heracross pretty effectively. But again, there's really not a whole lot I can do here at this point in time. I mean, there's just nothing I can do, especially with him having Recover. So, again, I could have ran about 10 turns, 30 turns ago, maybe 30 turns ago. I could have clicked run, but that seemed to be kind of a lame way out. So I'll let him get the right kills that he's supposed to get and whatever else. I'm just gonna click Scald here, and we'll just let him go down. I'm not even gonna try to wish and stuff like that. I could have tried to work with the clock and try to get some sort of a better differential or whatever, but it's not a big deal. I don't really care. So here comes the Psychic, and I don't know if we die to poison or not yet. I think we have one more turn left, so he'll knock us out with Psychic, and that'll be the way he kills us. But yeah, that's okay. So props to Joey, of course, for a nice game. Obviously, great prep on his part to run so much bulk and just things like that. I just didn't have really anything for the bulk. Or really specifically this Reuniclus. It was a pretty good match between some of our bulky Pokemon, but again, there's just, you can just see I'm just a sliver of health every time on this Reuniclus. So Vaporeon does go down to the Psychic. Delphox does die to entry hazards on the entrance here, and I'm gonna lose, I think it's 4-0, so kind of brutal to lose 4-0, especially in this fashion. It's been stally for the last like 45 minutes, but I brought the offense, man. There's not much I can do about it. I brought the offense, and I tried to break through the walls, but it's just not enough with him having the wish and the Rhenoclist being so bulky and stuff like that and whatever else. So props to Joey, of course. I've talked about this for the last 30 minutes, and we knew it was going to happen. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. That's it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I'll go about aDrive. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.